Hello, everybody. Greetings from Turku. My name is Sampo Ruoppila. I'm the Research Director of Urban Studies at the University of Turku and City of Turku, and lead the Turku Urban Research Program, which I will present to you in a minute. But in general, I'm hosting now the University and City in Cooperation and Research webinar as a part of European Campus of City Universities Forum. My co-host is Irinja Paakkanen. Irinja, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning, good day, everyone. I'm Irinja Paakkanen, Head of International Affairs at the University of Turku, and I'm really pleased to have you all here.
So Irinja will be checking the chat box and raise some interesting topics for further discussion among us here. Right, okay, I will start immediately with the plenary talk by myself, telling you about the research collaboration we run here in Turku. So the topic is Turku Urban Research Program, which is an ambitious city-university research collaboration. And when I say ambitious, I mean it's ambitious in terms of scope. It covers themes of strategic urban governance very broadly, anything from spatial planning to social policy, or from sustainable development to good governance. It's ambitious in terms of volume. Annually, we distribute roughly 750,000 euros research funding covered by the municipality, the participating two local universities, and local housing foundation. It's also ambitious in terms of overall volume. Over the years, the program has been in place since 2009. The first projects took place in 2010, and municipality has been involved in more than 100 research projects within this time span. It's also ambitious in terms of continuity. It's not just a one-off thing by clever mayor or university rectors, but it is in fact in its third period already, and I see no reason why it wouldn't continue also after this. It is systematic collaboration. It has solid institutional practices up to details, which I will tell you a bit later on. So it's very tailored in a way that we put people to discuss things about research and their practical implications. It has a very significant organizational innovative factor, knowledge brokerage implemented through jointly appointed research director, in this case me. So I'm appointed by the university and the municipality together, and I also serve both. My job is to make sure that the will of both is fulfilled in the projects. And it's also ambitious in terms of openness. Although it has certain funding partners, we are open to anyone else collaborating with our partners. So our funding calls are open to other universities as well as partners in the projects. And when I say that it is a joint initiative, I really mean it. So the themes of the research that is funded through the program comes from city strategy and policy prioritizations. So basically, through its strategy, the city describes what sort of themes are interesting to it and what sort of goal it tries to obtain. But for researchers, obviously, these turn into research questions. What are actually the right kind of measures to obtain certain kind of goals? What kind of policy options there are, etc., etc. And every time we fund a research project, we demand it to be academic in a sense that it uses theoretical framework and formulates the research questions in a sensible way with academic understanding. I usually describe this situation as Olympic circles. Certainly the two institutions, the municipality and universities, are different in their knowledge interest, for instance, but they do have a lot in common when they get together in a table, and it's pretty easy to actually make the goals meet. They both understand that there is the collaboration involves something that they wouldn't do in their own organization without this kind of collaboration. So municipality, for instance, understands that all the research is not practically orientated, but it has parts which are necessary for the academic partner. And the academic partners also understand that it's not enough to publish in academic outlets as usually, but they also have to make a step or two forward in order to discuss the practical implications for their results, and also hold the presentations and publish it shortly for the practitioner audiences. Well, both parties obviously have a lot to gain from this. The municipalities gain strategic outlook, how the world is changing, how should we react to it, and policy advice for the everyday decision making. And universities obviously strengthen the regional engagement and urban scholarship, including sparring on practical relevance of for instance, policy research. And the knowledge brokerage helps with translating different interest, for instance, to each party. So formulating the questions, reformulating the questions when they discuss. And knowledge brokerage, the innovative thing here basically means people or organizations facilitating connections, mutual understanding, and knowledge transfer between the researchers and practitioners. So it's a lot about explaining, coordinating, aligning interests, but also summarizing, like reformulating what the people are trying to say, what kind of messages they are trying to deliver to each other. The program itself is built in a way, as I said, the themes come from a city strategy, but then since it is an urban research program and also in an academic ambitious way, we focus on the social and spatial change in cities on the one hand, and options of a municipality to influence the course of development on the other. So basically the question is what changes, how, why, and why is it relevant for the municipality? And then how can municipality influence the course of development, either alone or together with other actors, enforcing the changes perceived positive, say, for instance, competitiveness of a city in lucrating new inhabitants, or decelerating the ones perceived negative, for instance, what can a municipality do for segregation or mitigating the negative impacts of segregation. And then the studies themselves can focus on either very broad things like what kind of mechanisms of societal changes are on the way, or very precise on what to do with organizing something or managing a certain kind of measures in urban governance. As said, we do provide research funding. We have basically four kinds of channels or ways to provide research funding. The main one is a research funding competition we run once per year for 2-year research projects where the municipality joins the universities and West Finland housing associations to run the competition. We distributed 600,000 euros through this competition, or we have done it for a number of years now. 4 projects each, 150, and with quite reasonable overheads, so that really is funding for research. The city also funds tailored research projects either by itself or co-funding. These are smaller, shorter, more practice-orientated. Usually the practitioners come up with an idea. I have this kind of a situation, I would need here advice or enlightenment of how these things are approached academically or like perceived by let's say the clients, and then we get the right person to run the projects, etc., etc. The city also participates to major research projects externally funded, and this can have a small partaking fees, but also perhaps even more usually other kind of help with the data or with connections and basically advice and discussions. And then we also provide research master's thesis grants. We have also annual competition for that. And later, when you get the slides, you can check our call links for research projects and thesis grants to get an idea of what we are demanding the researchers to do. So as well, you can check these later on, but 2-year research projects examples. This is our main project type, 2-year research projects, where the grants were delivered after competition. And there you see the kind of like urban ideas, urban governance ideas, and also quite broad themes like intergenerational accumulation of social disadvantages, for instance, where the municipal services have a lot to do in trying to prevent them, and therefore it's crucial for the municipality to get an idea of what really might have influence or what would be crucial way to spend public money for these services in order to gain the needed strengths in trying to decelerate the negative impacts. And there are also a couple of examples of tailored research projects. For instance, recently, last year, there was online deliberation on future transportation system. So there was a scenarios of traffic planning in the city center of Turku, and then a number of citizens were collected very systematically to discuss very different type of citizens to discuss these scenarios as an advice for the municipal council who makes the decisions. And when I say that it is systematic collaboration, I really mean it. So it starts from co-design, the program steering group, where mayor and both universities rectors are present, as well as a number of leaders of the municipality and a number of university professors from some relevant fields. We make joint research program. We have the jointly appointed research director, and we do jointly funded competitions. But actually, in the real collaboration, the crucial thing is the project steering groups, the co-production stage of the research project itself themselves. We collect experts from different departments of city administration to discuss with the researchers and to really interact within the cycle of a research project and try to make sure that the implications gets well discussed at the end of the project. And obviously, we have also different kind of dissemination activities. For instance, our own research publications are very practitioner-orientated research briefings, we call them, but obviously we also expected researchers to publish in academic journals and books too. Thanks from my behalf, and there you have the link where you can read more of our Turku Urban Research Program. So I believe there probably is some questions already in the chat box. Irina, have you?
Yes, thank you, Sampo, for the very interesting presentation of what we are doing here in Turku with the city and the universities. And together. I have two questions here for you at the moment, and one is about the international cooperation. Has the ECU2 Alliance already had some effects on the city-university cooperation internationally, or what are you looking for? What you expect be the impact of our alliance or this cooperation?
I haven't had any discussions yet with the alliance about what kind of international angle it could bring to this collaboration, but I'm really looking forward to these kind of discussions.
Yes, and I'm happy to pose the same question to all of the panelists and the speakers, so please be prepared. And another question is, because this is interaction of research, education, and societal interaction. So you are doing a lot of research together with the city and other related organizations. So how is this reflected in the education we are, the teaching we are giving to the current student of ours?
It's basically linked to the education through different research projects we are funding, like they do employ also master's students, and a number of the research projects also carry on then courses related to the research project. So there is a link, and obviously all the researchers involved in different kind of projects in any way take some elements from them to their teaching activities. Plus, we also have the master's thesis grant, which is a kind of carrot for people to specialize in urban studies topics within their majors. And also, in fact, I'm leading the urban studies minor at the University of Turku, collaborative one with the Åbo Academy University as well. So you can do urban studies as a minor, and then this is also an element to actually strengthen the urban studies expertise in different kind of majors that the universities are providing.
Thank you, Sampo. That is great to hear, because we have to always think about the next generation of researchers and other important actors in our societies for the years to come. There one more question, which I'm now asking you. If a group of researchers of students would like to propose a call or research that might benefit certain vision of the city, which might complement the current calls by the steering group, is there a way to hear the opinion to actually create a call?
Maybe, but I don't know if this question is about call or a project. Some of the projects that, let's say the small tailored projects also are generated that way, that researchers have an idea which they propose to, or anybody has the idea which they propose to the city, and then we work on it and check whether that can be applied, or how it could apply, or how it should be perhaps developed a little bit further. On the calls, that's something to discuss. If there's an idea, we can check it. But basically, the themes of the calls are decided every year. So if it is a theme, then probably that could have been applied if the steering groups decide so.
Yes, a good question. Thank you for that, and thank you for the answers. This is all for now.
Okay, in that case, I think we will move forward in our program. And the next speaker is Cristina Robalo Cordeiro, who is full professor at the Faculty of Humanities of the University of Coimbra. She was the vice rector of the University of Coimbra from 2003 to 2011. She is an essayist, translator, and writer, and has devoted her research primarily to French and French-speaking cultures and literature, and is certainly celebrated for her work. The CV was pretty impressive. Professor Robalo has published 17 books and about 200 scientific articles. Cordeiro is part of the working group of the candidature of Coimbra-European Capital of Culture 2027, and this is the topic of her today. Please, Professor Cristina Cordeiro, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. As you have seen, I am a French speaker and a Francophone speaker and a teacher of French literature. So the English language is, you will see, is not as my French. But I am very happy to be offered the opportunity to participate in this forum on university and city, and to say a few words about Coimbra. I thank the organizing committee of the forum for inviting me to join this panel, and my only regret is not to be physically present in Turku, a city and a university I like so much. The title of my talk is perhaps misleading. As a matter of fact, to speak of Coimbra as European Capital of Culture in 2027 is still a wishful thinking, an optimistic anticipation, since we are still in a preliminary phase of the competition, well ahead of the final decision of the jury. 10 other cities in Portugal are candidates to the same prestigious title, and all of them will have to wait until next year to know which are parts of the pre-selected branch. I won't bother you with the technicalities of the administrative process underlying this competition of cities. I prefer to dwell on the word culture as it should be understood in this context and in relation to the very idea of campus. If a campus is a place where academic people, mainly students, teachers, researchers, and staff study, live, work, and interact, its definition is not very different from what makes the essence of a city. A campus is a city, and in a way, an ideal city, like Platonopolis, the city of philosophers designed by Plotinus in the 3rd century. But as you well know, the originality of the Coimbra Group lies in the presence of the campuses at the heart of our historical towns, which during centuries have grown around them and not apart from them, as in the United States. It happens that this intimate interconnection between the town and its university is at the same time an extraordinary bonus and a challenge. An extraordinary bonus, of course, insofar as an old university is an architectural treasure, and the ancient buildings of the University of Coimbra belong to the UNESCO World Heritage, a store of knowledge and a fountain of science. For most people, culture is rightly considered as the specific product of the university. But here lies the difficulty and the challenge. The world culture has evolved and implies more comprehensively today various aspects of the everyday life that are not easily compatible with the academic conception of culture. In fact, culture has come to mean the way we, citizens and not academics, make life more enjoyable and worth living. Food, dress, sports, nature, and not only museums and theaters and libraries, all are entitled to enter the list of goods and activities. So the task force preparing the application dossier, and to which I belong, must take into account these two meanings of culture: general knowledge and respect for the past on the one hand, and the current social practices on the other, continuity and rupture, preservation and disruption. And it is here that the very idea of campus may help us. A campus reconciles and synthesizes the apparent contradictory ideas of culture I have just distinguished. An European campus, like those making up the Coimbra group, is not only a social melting pot, it is also, and especially thanks to its permanent youth, a culture meeting ground where no boundaries exist or should exist between tradition and creation, history and innovation. Such was, at least 40 years ago, the conviction of the founders of the Coimbra Group. Breaking with the static representation of the academic world, and it is important to recall that not all the founders were academics. I am thinking, for instance, in particular, about Simon Pierre Nothomb, the soul of our group. They enhance the role that should be played by the students in the solidification of the network they were dreaming of. Old and often very old by their secular history, of which they are rightly proud, our universities, due to the constant flow of a new generation, remain forever in their 20s. The first project of the Coimbra Group at the very, very beginning was not a scientific conference, but an encounter of students' music group as a symbol of their confidence in the power of young people. Our task force draws its inspiration from their example. If it is always a theoretical temptation to separate the past from the future, the historical monuments from the labs, the museums from the theaters, we try to keep in mind the continuity and the mobility of the whole, seeing culture as a unique stream of changes involving both the town and the campus. It is no longer acceptable to see the two worlds living so close to one another while ignoring each other like water and oil. The academic quarter of an hour, established to recall that the university, like the Magic Mountain, does not submit to the secular time which rules the town. The academic quarter of an hour is a remnant of a long abolished vision of the university as a sort of monastery. Hopefully, the fact that half of our task force is made of academics should allow us to reverse this autarchical trend, opening the campus to the city and the city to the campus. Reputed for and proud of its university, Coimbra is nevertheless trying to get free of the clichés attached to its name in the country. Cidade dos Doutores, the city of dos estudantes, the city of the students, Cidade dos Doutores, the city of the doctors, academic folklore and bohemia, the separation between the upper part of the city, university territory, and the lower part with the shops and taverns, the lexical distinction between the students and the other part of the population who were given the nickname of Futrica. If Coimbra no longer deserves to be seen as the sleeping beauty of Portugal, the image is hard to die. The very idea to enter the European culture competition aims at refreshing our look. Why should we not be known for our Biennale of the Arts, our annual Festival of Cinema, the most important in Portugal, or for our jazz concerts? But as long as the town and its region will not be able to give jobs to the UC alumni, the representation of Coimbra as an exclusively university-centered town will persist. Conversely, the campus itself should be held responsible for not helping to create firms and companies in or around the city, in spite the very important role of our spin-offs and incubators and all the recent efforts in this direction. Coimbra, like other members of the Coimbra Group, by tradition not in industrial cities, suffers from a permanent devastating brain drain, source of many internal conflicts, not to speak of a long-lasting demographic decline. The digital revolution will tackle part of the problem, like the COVID-19 period shows us. In this regard, much is expected from research and researchers in artificial intelligence and robotics, for instance, and I'm glad to say that Coimbra University is a forerunner in this area of technology. Sorry, my image, like Coimbra, it was gone. The competition for the title must take into account all the difficulties Coimbra is facing nowadays, all the problems that we have to solve, and the contradictions to overtake, and should be able to prove its capacity to change and to build a future sustainable and inclusive without denying its past. And of course, we are in a work in progress, and moving the city means much more than accepting passively the changes, requiring from everyone an open mind to welcome all the differences. Our application is an opportunity to reflect on the problematic identity of the town and to induce the necessary structural changes in the culture ecosystem in order to, for instance, modify the image of Coimbra as a town centered on its past historical history and traditions, show how Coimbra leaves its mark on anyone who has spent some time in the town, contribute to the national balance of powers, creating a centrality of the town and the region to compensate for the strong attractiveness of the two metropolitan areas of the country, Lisbon and Oporto, fight the demographic recession of the town, fix the growing number of students, national and foreign citizens who arrive every year, seduced by the reputation of the higher education institutions and the quality of life, contribute to the energy renewal of the town in all creative areas, give more attention to traditional spaces of the town, public gardens, squares, and streets, incite part of the artistic events, performances, and experimentations to happen in patrimonial spaces, combining tradition and innovation, create spin-offs in the artistic area, and support the traditional forms of art. The competition for the title of European Capital of Culture 2027 is a test allowing to assess the willingness of the campus of Coimbra University to be part of the future of the city of Coimbra. Much work is needed, many weaknesses have to be dealt with. The very idea and ideal of Europe could guide us all. It is vital for us to draw more profit from our twin cities, as it encourages our local culture agents to belong to international networks. We wish to conceive and implement common projects with all your universities. We wish to create summer courses, for instance, exchange of students and researchers to be intensified. It's good for the campus and it will be good for the town. And I'm glad to propose already Coimbra to hold a symbolic meeting to celebrate the 40 years of Coimbra Group. The Coimbra Group is an embodiment of the European spirit. As such, it should be seen as a singing band where every voice is welcome, and especially in case of victory of Coimbra in the European Culture Contest, as a nod to joy. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Cristina, for a very inspiring presentation. Irinia, do we have any questions there?
Yes, thank you also for my behalf, Professor Robalo Cordeiro. You actually answered already for the two questions I had here. So I'm having also own questions here, not only from the audience. So when you were listening to Director Sampo Ruoppila's talk about how intensive is the research cooperation with the city. So could you elaborate a little bit, do you have the same style, and could you directly see a connection? It's the research cooperation with the EC2U or Coimbra Group universities could help you to go further into the in the details or the facts. It could make a change. I was really glad to hear that you are already inviting and looking for cooperation, and especially for being involved in the Coimbra Group all the time. University of Turku has been a partner that you are taking an active role in the next celebrations. But when it comes to the concrete, I'm very having my feet on the ground now. So is
yes,
there a concrete connection?
Well, it's quite difficult to see, to tell now, right now, to tell you what exactly we can do together, the concrete projects. But I will propose to put myself in contact with international relations services of the 7 universities of this network, in order to analyze and to propose some projects involve all universities in different fields. For us, it will be really important, because being capital of culture is not only to show what we are, what we do in our city, but it's also demonstrate the European dimension of the city and of the university. And so creating networks, creating international projects are one of the values of this candidature. So I will propose, if you allow me, later I will be in contact with all of you, okay?
Thank you. Yes, there's one more question in the chat. How do you intend to secure sustainability of all projects that you planned under the application for the EU Capital of Culture?
Well, if we are capital of culture in 7 years, we will have to build a program for 2027. But now for the application, we are preparing a pre-program, and the projects we are proposing are a prefiguration, so to say, of the capital. All the projects have a plan of sustainability, and several studies are done in order to create it's a dimension. But I can, if the one who put the question wants more details, it will be easier for me to write to her. So please give her or him my address email, and I will be glad to answer.
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah, I could also have a small comment. It's actually pretty amazing that since most of the European capitals of culture have in fact been university towns. I mean, this is not a surprise. Obviously, these are the locus of cultural activity in all countries. But surprising is that basically Turku, which was a European capital of culture in 2011, was the first ECOC to have a research program as part of the European Capital of Culture. So it had 10 research projects, either by researchers themselves or in collaboration with artists as a part of the official ECOC program. And then there was discussions before some prior and future European Capital of Cultures about the evaluation side of the universities, which is another field universities tend to be active. So I really encourage you to work on the research collaboration side of the ECOC. It's so amazing that it was absent until 2011, well, with the exclusion of evaluations, of course.
Thank you.
Okay, if we don't have any other questions, then thank you, Cristina. And as you noticed when Cristina was talking and when I was talking earlier, the artist Blanc Ellis is with us, and she's illustrating what the speakers are saying. You see her drawings here in the meanwhile, and also after the forum on the EC2U website and social media posts. I also would like to encourage you to share pictures in Twitter and Instagram and all your observations. For instance, what kind of EC2U forum studio you might have at your location. So please use the hashtag EC2U forum 2021 and share your snapshots in the social media platforms. Now we are moving on with in the program with Tommaso Mazzocchi, who is entrepreneur and general manager of the Polo Tecnologico di Pavia. He will introduce us to Polo Tecnologico di Pavia, which is a concrete example of public and private collaboration. Tommaso, Laura will change your slides, so please tell her when is the time to change. Otherwise, Tommaso, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you very much. So good morning to everybody. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, very good. So good morning to everybody. So it is a pleasure to be here, even if virtually, but I'm sure we will have the chance to meet each other very soon. I hope it. So the name of my topic is the Polo Tecnologico di Pavia, a concrete example of private and public collaboration. So I will spend the given time to introduce myself and my activity, giving some suggestion on how my experience can maybe replicated in some different other contexts in which the collaboration between private and public can be already a win-win opportunity. My name is Tommaso Mazzocchi. I'm 37 years old. I have a university degree in philosophy, and currently I'm attending a 2-year master in business administration. This choice at the beginning was the attempt to use it in a smart way the first free time during the pandemic, trying to become stronger in my business skills. But first of all, I'm trying to understand where the market is going in this strange and incredible moment. During the day, I am an entrepreneur in some different fields, but in particular, I am a real estate developer. So not exactly something directly related with technology and innovation, but by chance, 9 years ago, I founded the Polo Tecnologico di Pavia, which is literally a science and technology park. It was July 2009 when, with the help of my father and the trust of my family, I decided to buy an industrial area in Pavia. At the time, this area was completely dismissed, and the two modern buildings that you maybe are seeing the picture, if you can go forward with the presentation. Yes, here. The area was completely dismissed, and the two modern buildings that you see in the next slide, maybe, were completely damaged and destroyed. So what I want to say is that the first reason why we decided to buy this property wasn't exactly the will to realize a science park, but we just did an economic evaluation in a moment in which real estate prices were affordable, and we thought that was the time to buy. After the purchase, I needed a very good idea to find some customer to sell or rent this property. And of course, a lot of money to realize the construction. So my idea was to get a loan from the bank before starting the construction, and after having found enough customer to cover the fixed cost. So I read on the local newspaper that the University of Pavia was looking for a private partner to realize a science park, a science and technology park in Pavia. And you should remember that in 2010 in Italy, or better, 2008 worldwide, until more or less 2015, we were in the middle of a terrible economic crisis, in particular of real estate due to the Lehman Brothers falls. And even in Pavia, no one wanted to be the investor of such a big and difficult project. So maybe because I didn't have a stronger, different idea, I decided to candidate myself, and I was the only one in the market. I had a meeting with a brilliant professor. If you want, you can go forward with the slides. I had a meeting with a brilliant professor who was the founder of the Department of Biomedical Informatics Engineering at the University of Pavia. And he told me that from his point of view, a science park in the Cambridge style was necessary for our city, and that some of his old students who after the university became entrepreneurs would have gladly brought their companies to Pavia if we had ensured to them a certain standard of service. So I can say that this amazing venture started 12 years ago from the talk with this smart professor, and from his list of companies wrote on a paper, can be considered a very strange, not common and unofficial, but for sure, a concrete collaboration between public and private partner, in which all the stakeholders had his part of goodwill. When I talk about stakeholders, I don't mean just my company and the university, but also the induce generated by the construction, for example, the city of Pavia, who attracted some interesting companies from other cities, thanks to this initiative. The companies born within the Polo Tecnologico during the years, all the researchers and students who attended our acceleration programs, more or less 700 people during the years, and all the commercial activities of the neighborhood, restaurants, schools, apartment owners, and so on. Today, the Polo Tecnologico is, first of all, an incubator for startups, an office and business center for corporates, a co-working space for freelancers. Our offices today accommodate 40 companies with a workforce of around 350, 400 people. So our companies operates in the information technologies, biotech, electronics, agriculture, real estate, construction, and services. So we offer to our companies research labs and modern, well-equipped offices, as well as logistic and administrative assistance. The Polo Tecnologico is also an education center. Our mission is to create an environment that promotes innovative entrepreneurial ideas in our territory. Our job is also to promote partnership initiatives, enterprise acceleration programs, and international exchanges supported by various partners. Among them, of course, the University of Pavia. And that's the reason why we decided to participate, giving our little but enthusiastic contribution to the EC2U program. So, starting from my experience, I think that the public and private partnership contract can be already a win-win opportunity, in particular in this historical moment in which the economic and social context is strongly compromised by the pandemic. It is necessary to rethink public services, infrastructures, making full use of the push for innovation of the financial capitals of the market operators. In that scenario, the public-private partnership contract, if well designed, allow to quickly bridge the investment gap of a city or a country or of an alliance, maybe as the EC2U alliance, generating a positive effect on all the community without generating new public debt. So just to give you an example, thanks to the program Next Generation EU 2021-2027, just Italy will receive over 300 billion from the European community. And that incredible mountain of money will be more significant if the public administration will be able to use a matching fund logic by merging the community resources with private capitals, which today are huge and are looking for new investments opportunities. So the condition for a successful outcome for an investment made through that kind of contract is, in my opinion, the ability of the public administration to assess their own needs, the objective to be achieved in the medium-long term, and the expected result for the economic operator who will need some guarantees, first of all, about time and cost to ensure their investments. So the convenience of the public and private partnership lie in the possibility of making public investments with the majority contribution of private capitals in order to provide on time, on budget, and on quality services by leveraging the managerial skills of private companies. In conclusion, the EC2U program can be, in my opinion, a good opportunity to have some interesting discussions on that kind of collaboration in order to understand how and where to find alternative funds to realize some public infrastructures useful for a long-term alliance between our universities, for example, and our cities, and also to understand if there are already some best practices to emulate. So thank you very much for your attention, and I am at your disposal if you have some questions. Thank you again.
Thank you, Tommaso. Irina, do we have any questions in the chat box?
Thank you, Professor Tommaso Mazzocchi, for your very interesting and a very up-to-date presentation of how the universities and cities and the business life can build together innovative infrastructure. And I was really pleased to hear you mentioning next generation of youth, and that you have also brought education to this transfer of knowledge process. And congratulations for the job already well started. I have a very concrete question about the youth and the students. So is there any differences between the fields of those students and those enterprises? You said around if I remember correctly, around all the businesses are already involved in your science park. So can you elaborate a little bit at that, and whether you noticed already? I have 2 questions over. So have you noticed already that the University Alliance EC2U have brought you something as an added value to your own work?
But not yet for real. What I can say is that in the last 3 years, we organized with the University of Pavia an international startup competition, because we have many international students within our university. And so we organize, we merge me and the university, the Polo Tecnologico di University, an acceleration program and a startup competition with these 100 international students. And what I can say is that the collaboration was great, and we had a lot of new companies born in this program. So what I can say is that this kind of program, this kind of international program, can be taught even in the EC2U context.
I'm glad to hear that. As coming from Finland, I would say that the international talent attraction and retention, especially to the business environment, is very essential for us. And anything we could do and bench learn from each other, it's an asset in this network and in the international cooperation. So I'm really glad of your offer. And now I have questions here for you. Do you offer grants or organize calls to bring together university and businesses? Or how is the collaboration of companies and universities supported by the Polo Technological? You already mentioned the startup competition with 100 international students, but do you have something else too?
Yes, every year we organize this kind of competition, and we have some sponsor who pay scholarship for the best startup of the year. So at the end of the program, so during the program, the wannabe entrepreneur can join our program, and then we merge. We create a team of between the startup and the students who want to attend the startup. So we create a team of from 5 to 10 people working 3 months in the business to develop the business idea. And at the end of the period, the best startup, so we will award the best startup with a grant. So it depends on the year, but for example, the last year, the first prize was 25,000 euro.
Nice to hear. And if you have time for one more question, there is about something really practical in a way. How Polo Tecnologico di Pavia managed the startup registration? What are the requirements to pass the competition among proposed startup and manage the sustainability of the startup that was born with the, your science park? Is that possible for you to give a short answer, or would you like to?
Yeah, but so I understood. I understand. It's very easy. So every year we advertise on our website and on the website of the University of Pavia a call for ideas. Typically, we advertise it in July, and all the students, but not just the students, even people from other cities can participate, sending their business ideas to our email, and then we provide a selection between all the ideas, and then between September and October starts the program. It's just this. It's very simple.
Okay, thank you very much.
So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Tomasi. Sorry. Yeah, the next program we have University of Turku 100 years flash mob. As you know, Turku has been a university town since 1640, but current, right, sorry. Is my video on? Yes, it is. Okay. Sorry for the minor hassle. Yeah, as you know, Turku has been a university town since 1640, but the current University of Turku, the first Finnish-speaking university, was established in 1920. And here's the background to the flash mob. In the University of Turku, we have a bottoms-up project, means like raising yourself from the chair. It aims to get the students and personnel to reduce the time they spend sitting in one place and to actively take breaks from sitting for their own well-being. Very important during these corona times when we seem to be glued in front of our computers. Last year, we celebrated our centenary, and a group of our students and staff created a flash mob to a Finnish song, Anna se soida, Let It Play. Now, let's all stand up. So please, everybody, get your bottoms up from the chair. Roll your neck maybe a little bit and enjoy. Maybe a little bit of dancing even along this memory from the last year to increase your own well-being. Hope you had a refreshing time. Great. Okay, let's move on in the program. We have here panelists, or some mayor introductions first. Mayor de Carlos Manuel García Carbayo from city of Salamanca. Elena Farca representing a mayor, and Mayor Léonore Moncond'huy. And then followed by panelists from Iasi Smart City, Professor Adrian Iftene, Jana Versum, Dr. Dana Strauss, and studying Turku, student cooperation specialist Anssi Kaisti. We will start with Mayor de Carlos Manuel García Carbovo, city of Salamanca, who unfortunately cannot be with us, but has sent a video instead. So please, Mayor Carbayo.
Good morning, and thanks for inviting me to this interesting forum. For me, it's such a pleasure to be part of this event. Muchas gracias por su invitación. Salamanca es sin duda el sitio ideal donde poner el foco cuando se busca analizar la colaboración entre ciudad y universidad. En nuestro caso, esta simbiosis es tan clara que no se entienden la una sin la otra. Una muestra de esta evidente asociación está en la propia apuesta que las universidades de Salamanca han hecho por la presencialidad en las aulas a pesar de la pandemia y de las exigencias sanitarias que eso conlleva. Salamanca necesita a sus estudiantes y viceversa. La experiencia de estudiar aquí es insustituible, como imprescindible es para la ciudad la aportación de los estudiantes. De media, un estudiante universitario deja en Salamanca unos 350 euros semanales en conceptos como alojamiento, ocio y compras. Estamos hablando de un dato que se multiplica por miles de personas, por casi 40.000 por concretar. Según el informe, la parte y el todo el impacto económico de la Universidad de Salamanca, solo la USAL genera un impacto que ronda los 1.000 millones de euros anuales, lo que supone el 1% del Producto Interior Bruto de Castilla y León y el 7% del de la provincia. Además, aporta alrededor del 1,3% del empleo de la comunidad, del que un tercio es empleo de alta calidad. Esto quiere decir que cada euro que se invierte en la universidad origina un retorno de más de 6 euros a la comunidad autónoma. Me dirán si no es rentable esta inversión. Y más allá de lo económico, hay una aportación cualitativa que se mide en términos de conocimiento, de investigación, de modernización, que surge también de ese binomio ciudad-universidad. En el Ayuntamiento de Salamanca somos plenamente conscientes del valor añadido que nos otorga ser la sede de una universidad 8 veces centenaria, que recientemente la lista Forbes ha ubicado en el 8º puesto de las 20 mejores universidades españolas. Y estamos orgullosos de colaborar con las universidades salmantinas para que ese talento que generan se quede en nuestra ciudad. De hecho, somos el primer ayuntamiento de España en impulsar un sistema de becas de apoyo al talento que tiene en los universitarios uno de sus puntales clave. Queremos que el talento se desarrolle en Salamanca y se irradia al tejido productivo. La transferencia de conocimiento es una de nuestras prioridades para ganar en competitividad y eficacia. Queremos que los universitarios puedan aspirar a ser emprendedores y encuentren en Salamanca el ecosistema perfecto para impulsar sus proyectos de vida. Y queremos también que el conocimiento que generan se traduzca en más calidad de vida para los salmantinos. Precisamente con este objetivo llevamos a cabo junto a la universidad programas y proyectos de investigación que se traducen en más Salamanca. Por citar solo un ejemplo de esta colaboración, Me voy a centrar en el programa para la detección precoz del Alzheimer y del deterioro cognitivo. Un programa pionero en España con el que Salamanca quiere ser punta de lanza en la respuesta a esta enfermedad de la mano de la universidad y de sus grandes investigadores. Estoy seguro de que este foro de debate nos va a aportar nuevas ideas para seguir estrechando lazos con las universidades con las que mantenemos una relación absolutamente fluida y fructífera. Les deseamos el mayor de los éxitos en estas jornadas y gracias de nuevo por permitirme formar parte de este panel. Un fuerte abrazo.
Thank you for the video presentation. Unlike I said, it's not Elena Farca from Iasi, but Fabrizio Fracassi from Pavia, who is talking to us next.
Gentili relatori, è per me un onore portarvi in qualità di sindaco i saluti della città di Pavia, che con grande entusiasmo ha aderito al progetto del campus paneuropeo delle università.
Good morning, everyone. I'm honored as mayor to greet you all on behalf of the city of Pavia, which with great excitement joined the project of the Pan-European Campus of Universities.
Pavia ha un'antica tradizione portata all'accoglienza degli studenti. Proprio quest'anno il nostro Ateneo festeggia i suoi primi 660 anni di storia, una storia arricchita delle capacità di dialogare non solo con il territorio circostante, ma anche con l'Europa, al di là delle Alpi. Ne sono una testimonianza gli spiriti illustri che hanno scelto di passare qui almeno una parte della loro vita, una scelta che ha anche un auspicio per il futuro.
As you may know, Pavia has a long history of welcoming students. This year, our university celebrates 660 years of history, enriched by the ability to connect not only with the surrounding area, but also with Europe beyond the Alps. Many distinguished individuals have chosen to spend at least a part of their lives here. Their choice means great hope for us and for the future.
È davvero un'emozione inserirsi in questo lungo percorso dando vita a un'alleanza formativa che garantirà agli studenti di oggi e di domani nuove opportunità.
It's truly exciting to be part of this long journey, creating an educational alliance that will provide new opportunities for students of today and tomorrow.
Manca davvero poco alla realizzazione di questo sogno che si concretizzerà nell'anno accademico 2021-2022 con i primi 3 master condivisi. Voglio qui ringraziare il magnifico rettore Francesco Svelto e la professoressa Antonella Forlino per averci creduto, al pari dei loro omologhi delle altre 6 università sorelle.
We are very close to fulfilling this dream, which will be achieved in the academic year 2021-2022 by granting 3 joint masters. I would like to thank Francesco Svelto, our rector, and Antonella Forlino, our professor, for believing in this project, as well as their peers of other 6 universities.
Il campus paneuropeo delle università che abbiamo costituito non è però solo una rete interuniversitaria, cosa già per sé importante, è anche un canale di condivisione tra comunità cittadine in cui le municipalità sono direttamente coinvolte.
The Pan-European Campus of University we created is not just an intercollegiate system, which is already a great success, but also a communication network between urban communities where municipalities are directly involved.
È un'ambizione questa ancora più grande che avremo il compito negli anni a venire di definire maggiormente e che apre, a mio avviso, enormi possibilità sia nell'ambito dei bandi regionali, nazionali ed europei, sia quello turistico.
This is an even greater ambition that we will fully develop in the following years, and which offers many possibilities, both in regional, national, and European calls for proposals, and in tourism.
Colgo l'occasione per ringraziare il giovane imprenditore nostro concittadino Tommaso Mazzocchi, che pensò oltre 10 anni fa con grande impegno a far nascere il Polo Tecnologico di Pavia.
I would also like to thank our citizen Tommaso, which created the Technological University of Pavia.
La formazione e la ricerca sono certamente i settori da cui partire, settori di grande interesse per il pubblico, come dimostrano, per citare un esempio a noi vicino, i 12 milioni investiti da Regione Lombardia per la creazione a Pavia di un centro di ricerca e innovazione tecnologica che costituirà il primo tassello di un parco per la tecnologia sostenibile, un'area di 11.000 metri quadrati a servizio del sapere.
We have to start from fields as education and research. These areas are of great interest to the public, as proven by the 12 million euros invested by the Lombardy region for the creation of a Center for Research and Technological Innovation in Pavia, which will be the first process of creating a park for sustainable technology, an area of 11,000 square meters.
La sinergia tra enti è lo strumento cardine di questo percorso e qui oggi stiamo muovendo un passo ulteriore nella direzione del rafforzamento dei rapporti che coincide con il rafforzamento di ciascuno di noi.
The synergy between entities is the key element of the project, and today we are trying to strengthen relationships as well ourselves.
Concludo dicendo che vi aspetto tutti a Pavia in occasione del forum che avremo il piacere di ospitare nel 2022, salvo sorprese, finalmente in presenza.
Finally, I will look forward to seeing you all at the forum that we will have the pleasure of hosting in 2022 in Pavia, hoping you will be able to attend in presence.
Grazie a tutti.
Thank you, everyone.
Many thanks, Fabrizio, for the talk. Okay, next we have the mayor, Léonore Moncond'huy, from the city of Poitiers, France. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Léonore Moncond'huy, mayor of Poitiers, and I am very happy to have this first occasion to exchange with partner universities of EC2U network and partner cities. Poitiers in France is often called the capital of education, which has many reasons. We have many national actors, many national institutional actors set up in Poitiers, like CNED, National Center of Distance Learning. I'll talk about it later. But it takes the form of an ecosystem that is highly oriented towards EdTech. And this is what I'm going to talk about today. EdTech, what is it? EdTech is educational technologies, and they are technological resources and digital solutions at the service of knowledge, of its transmission and of learning at every age. EdTech are used for several types of situations and periods of a citizen's life, ranging from primary school to higher education, which is what we're working on, today, to continuing education like vocational training, in-house training, and so on, and including skills development in different contexts, like driving assistance for elderly, and so on. And today, one of the major challenges of our societies remains education for all, as the crisis also showed it, integrating lifelong learning. Digital techniques are called upon to play a decisive role, and the challenge is to question, to assess, and to develop the potential of digital technologies and the question it raises, so social questions it raises, in order to put in place an education and training strategy at the service of citizens and at the service of education. So Grand Poitiers, Grand Poitiers is making the strategic bet of EdTech by relying on the experience and the strength of our territory about EdTechs. Recently, the COVID-19 crisis has shown the need of developing these EdTech devices for all levels, for all types of training, and by offering distance learning solutions. So Poitiers and the University of Poitiers, of course, have many actions to address the issue of EdTech, and I chose to develop four of these actions. First, university research. University research in Poitiers has been recognized for a long time thanks to specialized laboratories about education, and most especially EdTechs. There is the Cerca in French laboratory, which means Center for Research on Cognition and Learning, which is working on cognitive and social cognitive processes in humans, including the impacts on human digital interfaces. We have another laboratory which is called Techne Laboratory, which means Digital Technologies for Education, which this laboratory focuses on information and communication sciences, cognitive psychology, educational sciences, computer science, and cultural mediation. So with these laboratories, we have many research programs which are dedicated to digital education, through research programs which are also supported by Poitiers, of course, but Nouvelle-Aquitaine region, with theses, conferences, field experiments on Poitiers schools and Poitiers University, with the framework of a multi-year agreement between your university, laboratories, and Poitiers, Grand Poitiers schools and other partners. Second priority is the training offer. We have the INSPE in Poitiers, which is the structure which trains professionals of education in schools, which offers a master in e-education, so digital education, to train future teachers in EdTech. More generally, every student in this master and in every training courses benefit from diversified teaching methods, using digital tools like reverse classes, MOOCs, augmented reality, serious games, and so on. It's really a culture which is very present here in Poitiers. The third strength of Poitiers is the presence of national and international accreditation institutions which are localized in Poitiers. Poitiers is the headquarter location of the three leading national operators. CNED, I mentioned it before, it's the National Center of Distance Learning for France, but which is set up in Poitiers. l'IH2EF in French, IH2EF, which trains only national education executives, which is also set up in Poitiers, and the Réseau Canopé, which is also a national institution which develops innovation, conception and production of educational resources, and mediation, which produces mediation between research and the fields, the concrete fields of education, and there is an event which takes place for the first time this year, which is the International Forum of Education. We call it Iftene, which has been held since March the 11th this year, and which ends with 2 days of conferences on June the 4th, the 3rd and the 1st, and June the 3rd and the 3 and 4 June. And this event, Iftene, brings together all the players of these fields of EdTech with the aim of meeting, of exchanging and learning, of making business also. So in figures, Iftene event is 60 online webinars, 1,800 registered with the national and international community, 70 exhibitors, 500 exchanges and business meeting, 200 speakers. So of course, ECTU community is strongly invited to join Iftene event this year, which is online, so you can join it very easily if it's interesting for you, for your university, for your city. And the fourth strength of our territory about EdTech is economic development and innovation. A priority issue for us is supporting startup and EdTech companies, which is a major challenge for our territory, in which our territory we cooperate closely between institution, university, and startup and companies. So we have an EdLab, educational laboratory, set up in 2020 for Iftene, the event I mentioned before. The EdLab is a support system for experimenting with digital innovation and digital innovation for education and training. This laboratory has been initiated by the Regional Council of Région Nouvelle-Aquitaine, but also by Grand Poitiers, and its Technopole, which is a science and technology park, the SPN, which is the network of digital actors of the region, Nouvelle-Aquitaine, and Réseau Canopé, I mentioned before. So we also have partnership actions, which includes Creaton. Creaton is a business creation competition. Competitors have like 24 hours to create a project about education and digital issues. But also Start Innov Studio, which is a studio aiming at accelerating the startup projects in order to make them economically viable. So to conclude, I'd like to say that Grand Poitiers is really a territory of EdTech. The community with its partners, every partners I mentioned, consolidates the ecosystem development by ensuring the presence of reference resources and training in terms of trend analysis, the use of technologies in learning paths. And this also involves the development of a complete project support offer by articulating various fields from fundamental research in Poitiers University to business development startups, as I mentioned, so that Grand Poitiers, we really want Grand Poitiers to be in France, but also in Europe, a privileged crossing point, in the fields of EdTech. So I really want to thank Turku University for organizing this meeting, and I hope we will be able to meet in a face-to-face meeting as soon as possible, and thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, Léonore, for your enthusiastic presentation. Excellent to hear about the developments in Poitiers. And now to round up our mayor's greetings, we have Elena Farca from the city of Iasi in Romania, who represents the mayor today and give us the greetings from Iasi. Please.
Thank you, Sampo. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly well.
Thank you. First of all, I want to send to all the participants the best regards from the Mayor of Iași, Mr. Mihai Chirica, and our special thanks to you all for the opportunity to be part of this great project, especially, of course, to our host today, the University and the city of Turku. About Iași city, the largest city on the eastern border of European Union and with a population of around 400,000 people. We have more than 65,000 students in 5 universities, and we also have the first university in Romania, Alexandru and Cuza University, the partner in this project. And speaking about the partners, Iași is sister city with Poitiers from France, and for more than 50 years. And I take this opportunity to say hello and to pay our respects to Madame Léonore Moncond'huy, the mayor of Poitiers, and congratulate her for the inspiring presentation that she gave us just now. Iași municipality has a long date and strong and sustainable partnership with the local universities, implementing the major projects of the city, starting with the technological park Technopolis in Iași in 2005 to present when we work together in many projects, and especially in the strategy for a smart digital city. With Professor Adrian Iftene, the Dean of Faculty of Computer Science at Alexandru and Cuza University, that will present you more details in a few minutes, I believe. Briefly, in 2017, the municipality of Iași won the Digital City Challenge competition organized by the European Commission, and the representative of business, academic environment, and local authority were involved in the project with the aim to provide a digital transformation strategy for Iași. And as a result, and after a very hard work in 2019, Iași municipality has a digital transformation strategy issued by the European Commission, and together with our local experts, and we created the following this, a digital council for digital transformation, which include the Faculty of Computer Science. In 2020, Iași municipality qualified in the second stage of the Intelligent City Challenge competition, which aims to provide a strategy for transforming the city from a smart to an intelligent one. And so the hard work starts again, and we really count on the university to complete this work together. All those strategies will be completed by the creation in Iași of a smart district, a really huge area on 12 hectares, dedicated to the university's research and innovation and to the pilot activities implementation. In fact, Iași University are shaping the city. Whatever if we're talking about mobility, culture, leisure, or events, environment, or business, or innovation, city strategies of development, or major project design and implementation, all this includes this strong partnership. The universities are the main employer in the city and the main provider of the highly qualified labor force. Their presence is essential for the city and for the decision makers. And the consortium of universities and the municipality was created more than 5 years ago, and it's in permanent contact working together on all those major topics. This is why the project, European Campus of City Universities, has such an important signification for us, and I hope this will be also a good opportunity for the municipalities involved in the project to start exchange good practices and share ideas, because I heard previously from the mayors who made presentation that they have a lot of very interesting good practices and ideas, and we want to develop new projects together, and we are looking forward to welcome you in Iași next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elena. Even if you might have a lot of questions for the mayors or Elena, we are running out of time, and therefore we are moving on to our panelists. we'll get those questions later on after these presentations. So welcome first the also we continue with Yash, Professor Adrian Iftene, who presents the Yash Smart City. Please, Adrian.
Thank you. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to say a few words about our collaboration with the City Hall here in Iași. Very interesting presentation until now. Many elements in common. I see different projects where also we have something similar here in Iași. Regarding my presentation, I will present at the beginning the context from our city, and after that, a few things about our collaboration. What is happening in Iași? In last 15 years, a lot of IT companies, big companies, open offices here in Iași, like Amazon, like Continental, like Bitdefender, like Levinite, like Centric, very many companies. And of course, when the companies decide to come in Iași, they come and talk with the representative from the university, and in our case, from the faculty. Regarding the context, thank you to Elena, because he presented a lot of useful things. We have our university, Alexandru Cuza University, which is the oldest university from Romania. And here we have Faculty of Computer Science, but also we have Faculty of Mathematics and Faculty of Economics, where also are students which know how to work in computer science domain. But also we have the Technical University, where we have automation and computers faculty, and also electronics and telecommunication. Every year, around 1,000 students finish their studies at bachelor level, and around 300 at the master level. Regarding the students, we have very good students. We are involved in a well-known competition and contest related to the mathematics and also to computer science, where we usually obtain good results. Here are some examples of groups from our students which participate in this kind of contest. But in some cases, we organize teams together with the university, with the Technical University. Regarding the collaboration between companies and the faculties, we have different dimensions where we collaborate. We improve our curricula with the help of IT companies. Also, we organize a lot of events, hackathons, conferences, workshops, and so on. But also, you can see here in these images how our laboratories were renovated with the help of companies. And we can see very similar colors, very similar desks, and very similar chairs like in the companies. In this way, it will be more easy to the students to go from the faculty to the companies. Regarding the collaboration with local administration, how Elena say, we work very close. We have a group of information technology of the level of the city at the initiative of the mayor. In this group, near the administration, also are invited to participate representative from university and also representative from IT companies. Here are a lot of images from our events. Also, we have a group of artificial intelligence. Our intention is to use artificial intelligence in order to improve the quality of life here in Iași. Also, we have working groups. We have a cluster, Imago More cluster. In this cluster, we collaborate with hospitals, with our colleagues from the medicine, and we create some common projects. Regarding the Iași Smart City, how Elena say, we work on a different dimension. Here are a few images from our local projects in transportation. We create some application which help people to travel more easy in the city. Application related to the parking from the city, a smart recycling, and so on. In 2018, our City Hall received a price, and here I put here the image. I hope you can see it. Regarding our projects, we collaborate on projects from the local level. Our students, we try to do at the bachelor level, at master level, and also at the PhD level, projects where to involve our students in order to solve some specific problems. In the left side, it's an example of a project where we try to see regarding the parks from the Iași, from the city, which park it's better to visit at specific hours. We use a lot of Internet of Things sensors. We put sensors in order to see which is the level of the noise in the park, which is the temperature from the park, what is the quality of the air. And in this way, we can recommend to the people which want to visit a park, which park is better to visit at a specific moment of the day. Another project is related to in this part, we use Amazon Alexa. We create specific services on servers from the Amazon related to our city. In this application, our students involve also services related to the places from Iași. When somebody wants to go to a specific restaurant or to a specific place, he can hear more about the place. He can find the prices, for example, or other useful things. Also can see how is the weather in the city, how to go there using the Google Maps, and so on. Another interesting project is related to our botanical garden. We want to promote our botanical garden, which is very big. From this season, we create an application which use augmented reality in order to help people which visit the botanical garden to hear more information about the plants, but also to see how to reach a specific place from the botanical garden. Our botanical garden is very nice. I recommend when we have the opportunity to come in Iași to visit it and to maybe to see how our application works. Thank you for the opportunity to see a few words about what we do here. And congratulations for the forum.
Many thanks, Adrian. Next, we move to Germany, to Jena, where from we have Dr. Dana Strauss from Friedrich Schiller University, who talks about Jenaversum. Please, Dana.
Thank you, Sampo. Dear mayors, dear Cristina, dear Tommaso, dear everybody in front of the screen today, big hello from me, from Jena. I'm very honored to share this virtual place and space with you today. First, I want to congratulate our host in Turku for the grateful and very thoughtful way you have set up this forum. It's been a great experience so far. Thank you for all the fun formats like the coffee rooms and the survey. They are a lot of fun. I also don't want to miss the opportunity to thank our EC2U coordinator and the whole team in Poitiers. Without you, we wouldn't be here today. Please know that we are extremely grateful for your hard work that you always deliver with a smile. Okay, now I invite you to come with me to the beautiful town of Jena that you can see here in the background. I'd like to present to you the network initiative Jenaversum, whose objective it is to connect the city and the businesses. And since 1.5 years, I act as the head of office of this network, and it's been a really great experience so far, but I will tell you all about it. So first of all, Jena is almost in the middle of Germany with approximately 110,000 inhabitants. And similar to Turku, as I learned yesterday, every fifth person is a student. The connection between the university, or as Cristina said it before, the intimate connection or extraordinary bond, I really like that expression, in Jena is really strong. In 2008, this connection was boosted when Jena was awarded the title of Germany's City of Science. That accomplishment was only possible because of all the stakeholders from academia, the city, and businesses were working closely together. To this day, the people involved talk about the great spirit surrounding that year. And as you can see, that spirit even managed to name our very own basketball team Science City Jena. The collaboration between university and the city evolves also around other areas like the Long Night of Sciences. I'm sure you have similar formats in your country. Children's University, science conferences and festivals like the great event in 2019, the Great Transformation, where you couldn't only see the greatest minds of science analyzing the world that we live in, but you got to see them perform on stage later at night. Pictured here is Hartmut Rosa, a professor of sociology, widely known for his theories on acceleration and resonance, performing and playing keyboard in the band Los Profesores, which is a great feature that we have here. The city of Jena, similar to what we just heard from Yash, has been granted a funding of over 17 million euros for their smart city project, and the university is a proud partner at their site. The city also supports research on a pragmatic scale, for example, by allowing sensors to be installed on top of trams to record data that is, for example, used to analyze urban heat waves. Entrepreneurship is another important field. Aspiring entrepreneurs will find a good ecosystem here in Jena to get their business going. And if you could visit Jena right now, you would come across a construction site nearly every 200 meters. The university builds a new campus. There will be new communication hubs, new research buildings. And this kind of urban development is only possible when all stakeholders are on the same page and are dedicated to the idea that research is the key defining moment of the city. You see our mayor here and the president of the university right next to him. So the ties between the city and the university are strong. At the same time, Jena really is a Jena-verse, a research cosmos. Around the university, Jena has a university hospital, a University of Applied Sciences, and as you can see here, a wide range of non-university institutions and foundations. The same is true on the city side. Here too, you find diverse stakeholders with different objectives. The network initiative I'd like to present to you today, the Jena-versum, Jena-verse, is concerned with this local universe. I know that's contradictory, but that's just how it is. It's the local universe. The aim of Jena-versum is to strengthen the ties between Jena's scientific stakeholders with partners from the city and the industry. Right now, Jena-versum is on the way to become a registered organization, an association, a society, if you like. That means the constitution or charter is being checked and hopefully approved by all partners right now. The corporate design is almost finished. A new website is being developed as we speak, and working groups and regular meetings have been established. If all things go smoothly, Jena-versum can officially be launched this year. Important in setting up this network is to create a sense of ownership in the process and allow participation. The task is to keep the individual identities of the partners strong and at the same time build a collective identity together. Very much like what we are doing right now with Easy2U. So what are the fields that Jena-versum will engage in? You can see them here. Of course, joint place branding is an important topic, especially on an international scale. Coordinated outreach to further develop the interface between science and society. What Adrian just presented from Yash, the opportunities that virtual reality offers to have like virtual city walks and stuff, that are things that we look into. Of course, the joint regional development is very important, the knowledge-based urban city development. And also for the researchers in all the different institutions to have an open dialogue about research agendas and research initiatives. That is to say that we don't want Universum doesn't want to have a meta agenda to put on top of everybody. That's not the intention. The intention is to stay in touch, stay informed on a regular basis. And the fifth possible benefit of Universum is the coordination of the use of research infrastructure that we would like to achieve with the help of jointly used databases. So in a nutshell, what is Universum for? It is for exchange, it is for visibility, for experience, and for orientation. And what I like to bring to our virtual table today are two questions. And maybe we find a way now or later in the coffee rooms to address them. I'd like to know how is the research cosmos set up in your city? Do you have a network of scientific institutions, including and beyond your university, that is vital to the profile of the city? And if that is the case, could the discussion of the future development of EasyToU involve a discussion of those networks? Because now we are the European campus of city universities. Could we be the European campus of city universities and research networks? With that, I thank you very much for your attention. We are always interested in learning, meeting new people and exchanging ideas. If the same is true for you, write us or meet me in the coffee session right after this panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dana. Okay, now we will finish our tour of EasyToU cities, come back to Turku and meet Anssi Kaisti, who is working as a specialist in study in Turku cooperation. Anssi, the floor is yours, and Laura will take care of slides.
Okay, I was planning to show them myself, but Laura, please do. So, good afternoon also on my behalf, and thank you for being invited to this forum. My name is Anssi Kaisti, and I work as a specialist in the central administration of the city of Turku. And I also have been working as a coordinator in the Study in Turku program and network now for some years. And now, Laura, you can change the slide, please. The Study in Turku is a permanent network for cooperation between the city of Turku and the 6 institutions of the higher education and their student unions and organizations here in Turku town, plus the other local and national stakeholders. Our network's purpose is to make Turku the most attractive and the most interesting city to study here in Finland, a city where students are taken care of. In our network, the organizations work together in marketing and communicating targeted at the students and those that are coming to be students here in Turku. We are developing and coordinating the everyday services for students and promoting students' well-being, and also supporting the local student culture. And finally, we are developing the services that promote students' employment possibilities when they are about to graduate. And next slide, please. Laura. Our network has itself defined our objective to this form, to make Turku the most interesting student city in Finland and the most inspiring one in the Baltic Sea region. And this third slide, please. About our cooperation network. Our model has been started in 2014, so this is the network's 8th year in action. The cooperation is also based on the City of Turku strategy to up to 2029, where it stated that Turku is the best student city here in Finland. Our budget for this, our common operations is approximately $250,000 per year. And our network is led by a steering group from participating organizations, and the chair is at this moment at the Åbo Academy University and the vice chair at the Turku University. Our steering group adopts the annual action plan for our network, And then the activities, what we do in practice during the year, are carried out in 3 theme groups: the marketing group, services development group, and employment group. And then the network has a co-coordinator, that's me, and I have a partner as a full-time communications specialist. And the last slide, please. So now when the time is running up, I thought that in the next coffee session, I would tell more to you about what we do in practice now this year in the coffee session. So this is my short presentation, and I will be online for the next hour. Thank you.
Many thanks, Anssi. Okay, the time is quite running out as usual in this webinar, but I would like to ask a very short question from our dear panelists and the mayors who are still present with us. Please, just on the top of your head, when listening to the presentations from the other cities, where do you see the most obvious collaboration theme or topic within the EC2U network? So please, one by one, let's start in reverse order with Anssi. On the others presentations, where do you see the collaboration potential?
From my and the city perspective, I would see all the collaboration between the city and the universities and the institutions of higher education on how we can make the students' everyday life and well-being even better in all our towns and university cities.
Great.
In short.
Yes. And Dana, please.
I also would say that it really depends on the topics. I think Cristina from Coimbra, she said one of the things about culture and the connection between the cities and the role the cities have to play in building such a intellectual campus. I think this is a really great connection that we can all relate to, and we have to think about that further. And of course, the topics like Anssi just said, student marketing, the smart city projects, the connection to the entrepreneurs. I can see connections to, of course, to all our cities.
Yes, sure. Adrian?
I see common points at every presentation, of course. I see common things regarding e-learning. I see common things regarding the augmented reality, mobile application, interaction with IT companies from local area. I think we can collaborate, depend on the topic and depend on our wish. Thank you.
Great. Léonore, vous êtes encore ici? Léonore, are you still with us? Not anymore. How about Elena Farca from Iasi?
Yes, well, we heard a lot of very nice idea that we really want to share and to work together. I really appreciate also the idea of exchanges in the frame of culture, of course, because we are all cultural city, not only university cities. So this can be a very strong bond. But on the other hand, I saw that all of our cities and our universities have strong interests in developing technological parks, technological skills. I really find very inspiring the project EdTech from Poitiers, and also the networks of research proposed by the colleagues from Jena. So there are a lot of very, very interesting points in a very large area of domains. But I think that can be really a start. This forum can really be a start of choosing what we are really focused on, and to debate a little bit together how we can develop in partnership between cities and universities, how we can develop more all these ideas.
Great. And Fabrizio? probably not here. Anybody else from Pavia wants to take floor and say something on behalf of Pavia? No, that will be in a coffee room, and I guess it's the same for Salamanca. So because of the limitations of time, we will all have the opportunity to discuss more in the coffee room, and that will be held in the Liveto platform. Most of you already visited there. You get the link at the same time. You get the Zoom link for the webinars. And please, when you are in the Liveto platform, please join the thematic coffee room, this thematic coffee room, and please also see some interesting stuff in the lobby and give your feedback on the EC2U cooperation all in all. So see you soon in the coffee rooms at the Liveto. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.